There is a very, I think, interesting ringside view you have about the Rahul Gandhi and the Ordinance, the famous or the notorious Ordinance story. And at that time, or in your book, you say that you believe that Dr. Manmohan Singh, then Prime Minister, was humiliated twice. First, you believe that his heart was not in approving this ordinance. And just for background context to our audience, basically the Supreme Court comes with an order that says that a convicted politician should not be allowed to continue, holding his or her position in the legislature unless there is a specific stay
Correct.
on the conviction from another court. And at that time, the UPA is dependent politically. It is widely believed that this ordinance was to keep the relationship going with the RJD, Lalu Prasad Yadav. And this ordinance bypasses the Supreme Court order. You write in your book that you believe that Dr. Manmohan Singh was humiliated twice. First, with the idea of the ordinance itself, in which his heart was not there and he didn't strongly enough sort of resist it as Prime Minister. The second, when Rahul Gandhi publicly trashes the ordinance and says this ordinance should be torn up and makes the hand gesture, which is now very famous, while the Prime Minister is in America. And by the way, I was reporting that trip in America. Correct. So this all played out in front of us. And there are those who worked with him who believe that was the moment he should have resigned and so on.
Yeah.
Talk about that. What you saw, what you observed.
See, we didn't have the ringside view in America, how it
played out
on her. But we saw what Mr. Rahul Gandhi did on the television and those kind of things.
You were in Cabinet.
I was in Cabinet Secretariat. I was additional secretary in charge of the Cabinet. And so all those which went into the Cabinet passed through me. And that is where. So my sort of familiarity is in twofold. First, when the ordinance was brought in,
which you say is the first humiliation for Dr. Singh.
So we had some internal discussions. There was no one even in the Cabinet Secretariat was happy about that ordinance, because that is, in a way, was something like Shabano kind of thing, that you are trying to undo a Supreme Court judgment, which is perfectly right. The corrupt politicians who have been proven corrupt have no right to sit in the parliament. But we were officials, so we can't prevent if the executive has decided to bring this as a law. So that was passed through, but we can see the palpable sense of frustration when the file went to the Prime Minister. I was told, I didn't go, that he wasn't also very happy about it. But he signed that, all right, if it has to be done. So like a bureaucrat, he also signed, and the thing happened.
I mean, his roots were as a bureaucrat.
Exactly. So a pliant kind of. So that is the first kind of thing, where we had only an indirect sort of. The second humiliation, while public humiliation took place in US elsewhere, the cabinet meeting was convened. We all sat there. The only agenda was this ordinance, which was to be taken back because...
So hang on, this cabinet meeting to take back the ordinance is after Rahul Gandhi has publicly made his displeasure clear.
Absolutely.
While the Prime Minister is outside India.
Yes.
Now he comes back from his US trip.
Yes.
And the cabinet is convened.
On the day he landed, in the evening of that day, the cabinet was convened because it had to be rushed way. And the cabinet is convened, where the only point of or discussion is this, or the agenda is this. And there I could see visible distress on the face of the Prime Minister. He was a man of very few words. He would not say much. And he simply said, if it is to be done, let us do it. But you can feel the helplessness. And to my mind, that was the second humiliation.
And as a bureaucrat watching this, you have no active role in it, but you are witnessing an important political moment.
See, as a bureaucrat, we do contribute to the policy making. Here,
there was opposition to the ordinance. You write in your book that the ordinance should never have existed.
Exactly.
But the way to take it back, or the reason or the context to take it back, was a humiliation for Manmohan Singh.
So, and here it makes difference what position in the bureaucracy you are sitting. We are part of the cabinet secretariat. It's the cabinet secretary who is the boss of the cabinet secretary. He takes the final call. The joint secretaries and additional secretaries assist him. Imagine if I was the cabinet secretary. How would I have reacted? Probably, it's a hypothetical situation. The first instance itself, I would have perhaps gone back to the political bosses that this is not something.
Did that happen?
No, this didn't happen because the then cabinet secretary was not. He was playing. He was prepared to carry out the instructions of the politician. That is what happens in many other places, where, like in finance ministry where we were. So if a Piyush Goyal would want certain kind of bonds to be allowed to be issued, we feel it differently. We go back, make all the efforts to see that scheme doesn't work.
But there was no attempt at this time to even argue out the ordinance when it was first proposed by the bureaucrats.
It was within the official circle. That's bad. But there was no attempt
formally oppose it.
Absolutely.